Goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Lane Woolscroft.
Normally this is the point where I have some witty repartee, but I just want, to say, everybody, I hope you're safe and don't kill your family members.
I hope you're safe, and I hope everybody's at home.
Yeah.
Hope everybody's trying not to go too crazy. Now, we're in the responsible generation that is nagging our parents not to go out, and we're just staying at home with our alcohol and anxiety.
And Netflix.
And so
Netflix.
much Netflix.
A lot of
streaming
so much Netflix.
everything. Literally, John and I got Shudder just because we've been inside for so long.
I started to sign up for it, and then I was like, well, do I really need another one?
30-day free trial, bro.
It's only
Yeah.
like $5.
Yeah.
And hey, Shudder, we just gave you a free plug, so
We sure did.
give us free Shudder.
Give
That's
us
right.
more free Shudder.
Well,
We'll talk about your
We're
stuff.
on episode 170, and you might be saying to yourself, well, Brian, why does this sound so different than, say, the other episodes? And that is because we're doing this for the first time remotely. So we're not quite sure
Brian
how
is
this is
not
going
in
to
our
work.
house.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
we
in your
miss your
house.
musk.
And
Speak for yourself.
What was
Brian
that?
has no musk. John said he
No,
misses
it's
your
a
musk.
good musk. It's a good musk.
I
John, he
miss
misses your
miss your musk as well, John. I mean,
Thank you.
John smells different when he's awake, doesn't he, Brian?
he does. I mean, Lane, I'm gonna be honest with you. When you go up to get coffee in the morning when we're recording, John and I are just going at it.
Nothing wrong with that. And today's day and age.
I wondered what those weird squeaking, gasping noises were. I've always wondered, and now I know. And now I know.
Yeah. So we're of course trying to stay safe and that fun thing. And we are actually this episode was originally 170 was going to be our interview with Kira Paputz, and that's coming next week. But in light of the whole world going to hell, I think that's pretty much the word I would use for it. Going to hell.
I don't know if like going to hell is what I would say, but I mean we're
I think that's fair.
We're living through history, which is which sounds cool in theory, but it's more painful than you would think. We have the COVID-19 virus that's at a pandemic level now, and we have had to change our lives very quickly and very drastically. And
Or as the president calls it, the Chinese virus, because he's racist.
Yeah.
So
he is.
that's not okay.
Yeah.
We can't call it that. That's not right.
No.
But we there's a lot of things that are going on. And it's interesting because for me personally, I already worked from home at my 9 to 5.
Yep.
But what has changed is all my colleagues didn't, and all of a sudden they want to video chat all the effing time.
Oh yeah.
So all of a sudden now, I mean, listen, I have lived my life very happily. And at first, I was like, it sometimes helps to get out of your pajamas and, you have a better day if you like put on some clothes and blah, blah, blah. That was just actual depression. So once I was on like meds and stuff, it didn't matter if I was in sweatpants or not. I had a good day either way.
Yep.
So, I was like a dirty bog witch, just living my best life, drinking coffee. Now I have to put on like a real shirt. Now the sweatpants are still happening because no one sees that shit.
Right.
But now I have to like put on like mascara.
Yeah.
Who am I? I'll have like earrings on a Tuesday? What the fuck is this?
Yeah. I know.
So my life
has
definitely changed.
For me, it has been a massive change because my 9 to 5, as well as my not 9 to 5, is now completely remote.
Well, yeah, you were all in person as
Yes.
somebody that was an in-person worker.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like kind of the point of you being there in person.
Yeah, everything pretty much.
John, too. I mean, your job is
2
in
weeks
person
ago,
as well.
I have 4 means of income, and they're all 1099. So right now, I'm just like relying on you, sugar mama.
Yeah, well, I got you, boo.
Fortunately, I'm still employed.
That's
even
great.
though I'm
A lot of
working
people
remotely. Yeah, I know, and that's that's our kind of going to be the main topic of our episode today. Is really just how this whole situation has really affected filmmakers, film workers, people who honestly, literally were knocked on their ass, basically overnight, and how they're coping, and just kind of some words of wisdom from them, as we kind of wanted to put a spotlight on them, because I think it's easy to say, well, you know, they're all Hollywood workers. They, you know, have got unions. They're good. And it's like, yeah, but a lot of them don't. And a lot of them, you know, are going to be hurting.
Yeah. And can we just, you know, quick disclaimer here. We're a movie podcast, so obviously we're going to be talking about how this affects the film industry and films in general. Obviously, we are very much aware that there are bigger issues now in the world pertaining to this pandemic.
Of course.
But because this is our bubble, this is why we're going to be talking about this.
And too, like, locally for me, I mean, like, you know, please, like, if you can support local businesses right now, please do if you can. You know, I think I've had a panic attack at least 3 times over all the restaurants in Pittsburgh, you know, of people that I know that have been laid off.
Yep.
You know, there's lots of things that you can try to do. Like, I reached out to my hair salon and said, hey, can I pay now for a haircut later? And, you know, and they said, we'll get back to you. Like, you know, we'll let you know. And, you know, there's stuff that, you know, I'm trying to do to do the most that I can to help. And if there's anything you can do, like, you know, I needed something today and I went shopping. And I didn't go to Amazon. I said, like, hey, I need this. I said, what small business carries it so I can, you know, support somebody else? You know, I'd much rather do that right now, especially since, like, all the billionaires of the world have been pretty damn silent about all the things that they're doing.
Well, they're too busy figuring out how they can cash in on human misery.
Well, too, shout out to Rihanna, who is not a billionaire, by the way. Rihanna's been doing, like, lots of stuff. She did a lot of donations for things. And, you know, Christian Siriano, who's a designer, he's employed his whole staff to make masks for New York City instead of, you know, doing the couture that he normally does. Ashley Nell Tipton, who's also a designer. They're both from Project Runway. She's also been doing masks for out in California, where she's based out of. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of great stories that you've seen of good people doing good things. And yeah, we obviously know that this is not necessarily the biggest thing, but too, at the indie level, I mean, when you have some of these people that are affected by this deeply, this is their income, and they may not have the kind of union backing or the millions that, say, like the Julia Robertses of the world have. I mean, you know.
And we have some testimonials, and we will get to them later in the show. But I think the best place to start is at the beginning, like, you know, how did we get here? And I don't want anybody to think this is like a profane association, but, like, it almost felt like a zombie movie. Because the government was so quiet about it, like oh, it's not that big a deal. There's only 10 people, and then Monday morning rolls around, and you're seeing, like, the tanks rolling down the street. Like, what's going on? They doing, like, an exercise or something? Well, and then there's a little girl in your bedroom trying to bite your throat, and then you go outside and every building's on fire.
I mean, honey, I keep telling you to stop smoking that peyote. Okay?
I mean, you're saying it in jest, but I mean, honestly, like, I had a faculty meeting prior to this, and we had announced to go basically completely virtual. And, you know, I was talking with a colleague, and I honestly said, I'm like, this quite literally is play by play what leads up to a horror film. Like, every apocalyptic horror film that I've ever seen, generally I never thought that we would be so cliche in our reaction to a virus. I never thought in the world that we would basically be playing off of the script of you know, outbreak or contagion, which now have suddenly grown in popularity.
Dude, John and I totally watched Contagion Outbreak last week. We totally watched it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. But I mean, my point is that the level at which we have completely failed as a world. I mean, I could say definitely that, you know, our country kind of sucked at it. But I mean, for the most part, this kind of took everyone by surprise. And
shout to South Korea, though. South Korea, like, got shit done. They got it figured out, you know.
And
I think,
it just surprises me.
I would hesitate to critique other countries just because I don't know enough about it to really say. Because, like, I know Italy just got hit hard.
Yeah.
I don't know where they went wrong. I know where we went wrong. Complete and utter lack of leadership. But I think it was interesting because at first I was very much uninformed about the virus too, because a lot of people were saying it's not that big of a deal. It's just like the flu, you know, you may get it, you may not, you know, no big deal, because it was being very downplayed.
Don't cough. Don't cough. Our audience will start to worry.
Guys, I have allergies, okay?
Yeah.
On top of everything else, the pollen's coming out.
Yeah.
We're all just in hell, all right? But anyway, but one of the things that I remember reading very early on is that how people were scared of, you know, what was going to happen with it. And I remember reading an article where someone said, well, no, like, it's going to be a pandemic. That's not a question. It's going to get out. There's no stopping it. And that really surprised me. And I didn't know what that was going to look like.
Yeah.
Because I was shocked. I was like, wait, what? We're not going to be able to stop it? What do you mean?
Well, too, it's like, I remember the larger things getting canceled first. Like, the NBA season, the NHL season's canceled. I'm one of them guys who's into them sports balls. I like them games.
Yeah, you're one of those guys.
And I was like, oh, man, no hockey or basketball? I mean, I guess it's like, you know, a few thousand people in the thing. And then it was like, you know, it started to get smaller. And it's like, oh, you shouldn't go to the movie theaters anymore. And then you shouldn't, like, be in groups of 50 and then 25. And just, like, don't leave your house. Like, and it happened not daily, but hourly. We started getting
it was
these
overnight.
updates.
It was quite literally overnight. Honestly, over the course of 24 hours, it went from, okay, yeah, just like, don't go to large groups, to don't leave your house. Like that, it was that quick. And I mean, I literally was telling, you know, friends of mine, I was like, I don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. And honestly, I'm still in the same boat. I do not know where we're going to be 24 hours from now. I don't. When this episode comes out, I won't know.
Yeah, all the time.
Well, things are just changing so rapidly, and I think that that's part of what is making this so scary.
Yeah.
Because, too, like, the big thing for me was when they canceled, I can't remember what order it went in, but when they canceled South by Southwest, and then they postponed effing Coachella, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And, like, this is not a political podcast. We've all clearly made our feelings met, or our ideals on the show. But
how dare you? Brian is so fucking coy.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't at all say what I think. You know, I don't at all say that I think the, you know, 70
never hijacks
70 some odd year old,
ever.
you know, New Yorker, you know, Bernie Sanders is basically our only saving grace at this light. I haven't said that at all. By the way, you should be thanking his ass right now. Should be.
But the fact that, you know, President Carrot Dildo is the most inept person on the planet to deal with this right now is making it extra terrifying. Like,
let's have everything open by Easter. Wouldn't it be great if the churches were full of people?
Oh my God,
well, I mean,
that's
the start of the
Don't
problem.
call the
anyway.
governors that are liberals. Don't call them.
Or that haven't, like, kissed his butt enough. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to get into that because, too, like, another part of all of this that is a problem now is, like, I'm so exhausted from all of it because it's all anybody's been talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's a big problem. Like, because I don't think that anyone has anything very informative to say. It's hard to get to the most important information, I guess. Like, for me, I've been kind of hanging in there for the afternoons for the governor's address. Thankfully, we're in Pennsylvania. And now, as a filthy liberal, I do like our governor very much. We have Governor Tom Wolf.
Yeah.
He's shown a lot of leadership, I think, in this issue. And I can't remember her position exactly, like Secretary of Health or something for the state, but Rachel Levine, I've come to really like her. Now, she is historic in the sense that she's the first transgender public official, first openly transgender public official for our state. So I knew who she was prior to this, but I never really heard her speak before. But she's been a big component of these press conferences that they've been holding pretty much daily, even on the weekends. Yeah. And I've really come to like her updates. And I was actually talking to my mom about this today over video chat because I haven't seen her in like 34 weeks. And actually 2 months, I think, has been a long time. But we're talking about how much we like her now. And luckily, like, there's at least something that I can have that has good updates. But a lot of this is like people, you know, talking about very depressing things, people, you know, doing conjecture. And I'll tell you what, like, I'm over it with the celebrities, like, singing their little songs and shit. Like,
imagine. Oh, that's all
listen,
I can get away
you
with.
Can do you can do two things. You can give money to like the people that need it, for like supplies and shit, or like, you know, for like the children that aren't getting, you know, lunches and stuff at schools.
Like Keats.
Or
Mikey Keats.
Yeah, like Michael Keaton. Did you see that?
Yes.
He's like doing for 412
the
Free
man
Rescue.
is Batman. So
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Or number 2, you can be Chris Evans and you can start reading children's books, because I will listen to that shit all day long. Sorry, John.
Yeah.
But are you saying that you don't want to watch Madonna in her like rose petal bath, talking about how like this is made us all equal?
Is she doing that?
In her mansion? Yeah, she was naked in the tub in the fetal
Ew.
position in a rose bath, saying like, "This has made us all equal."
Ew.
Okay.
So it's wonderful.
No.
First of all, I would say the only people that you should be watching or paying attention to are any artists, any musicians who quite literally had their jobs and gigs destroyed over the course of literally a day. You know, my friend Fat Man D, you know, one of the big musical acts in Pittsburgh, lost all of her gigs overnight.
Oh yeah.
Overnight.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the like gig workers in the city. I mean, like we have a mutual friend. She's a go-go dancer, for God's sakes, at a nightclub. I mean, what the hell? And her other job is at a restaurant.
Yeah.
A sit-down restaurant. Like, what the hell are you gonna do?
So
we have Weird Paul here, who's pretty famous, and he's like been streaming online saying, you know, please drop some money in, but I perform songs for you.
Well,
You know,
I mean, half the restaurants in town have had to lay off half of their staff. You know, a lot of the places have been able to eke by. Who knew that like the breweries and distilleries and stuff would be able to like, you know, kind of come out of this? Like some of the posts I think that are interesting is, you know, where they've somehow been able to deliver alcohol. It feels like there are no rules anymore. I'm in. I like it.
you take away
happened
people's
today.
booze, you're in trouble.
That actually happened today. my wife
You had booze delivered, sir?
Well,
Proud of you.
Yeah, so my wife got booze delivered for her sister. So they dropped it off, and then she picked it up quite literally about an hour or so after it was dropped off. But yeah, it literally feels like a entirely different world right now, and
Kind of like some of these rules are bullshit and they don't really matter.
kind of like the rule where it was like, oh yeah, your job is not essential if you are someone who works in healthcare or someone who works in a supermarket or a restaurant, that somehow you're to be looked down upon. And that, you know, people will say, oh, well, that's what happens when you don't go to college. Or, you know, something to the effect of, I don't know, the job that you had that you were like, well, why couldn't this be done remotely? Now suddenly can be done remotely.
Yeah, especially if you have like special needs or a disability that calls for it, if you have good reasons to stay home.
Well, hey guys, remember Edward Rapey Hands, aka Joe Biden, said that like, Bernie, how are we going to pay for this healthcare plan? It's going to cost $900 billion.
And then all of a sudden
and he's
pulled
like,
$2
get the $2 trillion immediately.
then
Like,
we
wait,
pulled-
the money was there.
Yeah,
what?
they pulled $2 trillion out of our asses. Like, okay, great.
I mean, again, not to get political. I mean, we're going to get political. I mean, but the
we've
point,
been very political. We've
point
actually
I-
been nothing but political so far.
Yeah, the point, and honestly,
Oopsie.
like if this is our least downloaded episode because of this stuff, that's fine. I'm sorry, but I mean, we can't not ignore. We can't not just sit by and ignore this stuff.
Well,
So,
it's affected us. I mean, like, we're
Yeah.
in 2 different places right
Yes.
now, and people are downloading podcasts less because of this.
Yep.
There's been a dip in downloads, like, across the board.
But
The sad thing is the two things I can do right now, sorry, Brian,
go ahead.
is YouTube and the podcast, and I make nothing off of that. So the income things I don't have right now, but I can still put shit out. I wish that somebody was paying me.
well, I mean,
Nice.
Again, just to kind of finish my thought, and then we'll move on. But I just want to
Sorry.
say that this whole situation should just really illuminate to everybody that the rules we were told had to be followed, and the things that we were told were impossible and suddenly out of the realm of what we can accomplish in this country. The people who say that we can't do things, they're full of shit. It's all about priorities, because literally over 24 hours 2 weeks ago, priorities switched. They switched on a dime. If you told me 2 weeks ago, oh yeah, you're going to be getting a government check in a couple weeks, not because of anything you did, but because it's a matter of the economy shit the bed. If you told me 2 weeks ago that not only would it pass in the House, but it would pass in the Senate, and Republicans would all be for it. And even the fact that one Republican asshole who wanted to block it was basically shamed by his own party. If you told me that 2 weeks ago, I would have said, you're full of shit. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen in this country. And guess what? It happened. So I would just want to finish this thought by just saying, anyone who tells you that incremental change is what's necessary and that we can't have things and that things are too hard to do in this country, that we can't have health care, we can't have, universal
basic income. Yeah.
That we can't have those things, that those things are not possible. Anyone who's telling you that is lying through their teeth, because it is. This whole situation is tied to that. And the one silver lining I could say is that I hope that we remember this once we're past it.
It's my hope too, because too, like, everybody that's arguing and saying like, oh, well, people wouldn't do anything if they had universal basic income, like, everybody's ready to scratch their own eyes out.
Yeah,
that's
like,
a lie.
seriously, I mean, everybody's ready to scratch their eyes out.
We are all right, guys. We're a movie podcast. Let's
yep,
get back
I know.
to it.
Sorry.
But yeah, because I could probably talk about the politics end of this forever, but until we run political roundup with John Bryan, we'll get back to the movies. But one of the first things I noticed was, in terms of the film industry, was movies being pulled.
Yes.
And the first one that I remember was James Bond's, like, a good day tomorrow is not a day to die.
With
yesterday.
Diamonds.
Yeah.
With diamonds,
or whatever,
and they might be forever.
The hell. Yeah. And, I was like, oh, well, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. Things are going to be bad for the next few days. And then,
things are going to be tough for a week.
Yeah. And then before you know it, movies that went to on-demand that either didn't come out in theaters or had just come out and they needed to recoup the cost. So The Hunt, Onward,
we had
Emma,
just seen Onward in the theater, which was great.
And, recent movies.
It's so cute. Your kids will love it. It's really cute.
In recent movies, Birds of Prey, Invisible Man, Bloodshot, that, like, Vin Diesel movie. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Until I had to
Invisible Man was good, too. It hadn't been out for long, but they're probably trying to, like, recoup. A lot of them are on Amazon. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, but I get it. They're charging $20 because I'm sure that somebody did the math that said, okay, the only way you're going to make some money back here is charging $20 for one of these movies. But I kind of wanted to see The Hunt, but I was going to go on bargain night for $5. I'm not paying $20 to see that movie.
But if you do the math, we literally went to see Invisible Man, John, and we paid $22 to go see it because it was $11 a ticket.
Yeah. I guess they're assuming it's a household of two or more.
At least.
I know
and
for
that's
me,
if you have kids.
I know for me, the one that really, like, said, holy shit, was Black Widow.
Yeah, when they pushed it.
When they pushed that back, I was just like, okay, things have now hit the fan.
Even the mouse, yeah.
Well, I mean, is there anything in the theaters now? Because the theaters are closed, right? Everything's closed.
March 17th, every movie theater across
my mommy's
the country.
Birthday.
Yeah, closed down. So
no nothing's being released.
And I don't foresee when they'll be back open because most movie theaters hold, like, that aren't the smaller, more independent movie theaters, hold about 200 people.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
minimum,
Well, Christ, I mean, even the small ones hold like 80 people, and we're not supposed to be in groups of what, more than 10?
10.
Or any.
But I mean, we're really not
honestly,
supposed to be in groups right now at all.
Right now.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not. And if you are, I hate you.
But apparently, like, they say this is going to, and it's odd to think of something like the House of Mouse, like, being in trouble financially, but this is going to cost every studio millions upon millions upon millions because they're literally just putting these things on demand to try to recoup anything.
I mean, here's the one thing I will say that this really has changed the game for streaming advocates. So, you mentioned Disney. What does Disney have now that they didn't have last year?
Disney Plus.
Thank
God they have it out now, right?
Yeah, but I mean, quite literally, they have a distribution platform already set up. So, if this does go on longer, which I foresee this lasting at least until July or August.
Don't say that.
I know I don't like to be that guy, but I'm just being honest with you. I think
it might be like the 4th of July, like the Bill Pullman speech.
Yeah.
No.
The 4th of July, man.
Guys, don't say that.
Yeah.
I have a trip planned for June.
Believe me, I have my daughter's second birthday in June, so there you go.
I know.
But my point is that I really think that, because Disney has that Disney Plus platform, they'll be fine because they'll just direct everyone to go get Disney Plus. You know, they might jack
Black
up the
Widow,
price
go
of
to
it.
Disney Plus,
Yeah, that's what I mean. But they'll have exclusive rights to it. So I mean, I think they're fine. I worry about any film that doesn't have that already built in.
Yeah.
You know,
like smaller movies.
Smaller movies are really going to be hurting. But yeah.
Yeah, because like one of the films that I was really excited about was Antebellum, and it has the same release date as Black Widow. I remember John and I got in a fight because I was like, "Oh yeah, I really want to see Antebellum. I'm really curious about it." And he was like, "Well, no." He's like, "Black Widow comes out that day," and I was like,
For the show we were talking about.
"Well, I'm Marvel exhausted. Okay, leave me alone."
You're Marvel exhausted.
Trust me, I want to see Antebellum more than Black Widow too.
But yeah, but smaller movies like that, like, I mean, I looked on the website and it still says April 24th, but like, who the fuck knows? Because that's the other thing that I think is one of the more emotional and like psychological issues at play with this whole thing is like, we just don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like the governor like regrounded us last week because last Monday he said, no, 2 more weeks of like, you know, shelter in place. But I mean, I don't see that changing.
I think he regrounded us because there were people who were just not fucking listening.
They were treating it like fucking spring break. It was ridiculous. But
literal spring break.
But too, like, but the problem is though, like, I mean, I think at least Pennsylvania, I mean, we're got to be close to reaching the peak.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Because we were at 2,000, well over 2,000 cases yesterday. I haven't looked today.
We're at over 3,000.
So we're exponentially going higher and higher.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the numbers here. So, and I did these notes a few days ago, so it's probably even more now. But this has cost the American film industry $5 billion.
Wow.
In this time period. In China, late January to late February, they only sold about a few $1 million worth of tickets. The year prior, it was $2 billion that they had made in profit in that period. So it was something like they sold $17 million of tickets instead of $2 billion.
Well, they're quite a bit ahead of us too, which is interesting because they've kind of been out of the worst of this now, so they should be rebounding. I imagine now we won't be. I wonder if we would release movies over there sooner if the situation's better over there, because we usually do make a lot of money overseas.
The outside of the United States, that's where most movies, like the big blockbusters, make the majority of their money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like Black Widow could be released overseas, and you know, if they did it digitally here and in theaters over there, I mean,
I imagine that they'll play it kind of by ear. I mean, I think the thing too is that a lot of people worry about a second outbreak happening, because I know that happened in, I believe, was Hong Kong, where they kind of reopened things way too quick. Like they got rid of it way too quick, and they started to see the cases creep up again. So so I think that's kind of the worry is when do things get back to normal? How do you phase things in? So, I mean, I imagine that that's what they'll do as soon as they see that China especially is safe enough to start releasing in theaters, then they'll go that route. I would not be surprised, honestly, if our entire summer movie platform is all digital. I really wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yes, that's so weird. I mean, like, and that's going to affect the release of everything for the rest of the year because there's a season for this shit now.
Well,
you know?
The weird thing I think is that we do between 36 to 52 episodes of this show, of our podcast a year. And whenever we have like a surprise thing come up, or we get like a flicker of an idea or something like that, or we can't record for a week, like trying to rebuild the schedule for like 40 episodes, like wherever we are in the year, is so difficult to wrap my mind around.
That's because you're the one who does it, John.
Yeah, but I can't imagine being like a studio like Disney, who's now probably pushed back like 17 movies, small, medium, and huge, big blockbusters.
Right.
And when are they going to release them? Like, let's just say, hypothetically, January 5th, this is all over, or whatever, right? Just for the sake of argument. Now, when do they start releasing the movies that they held off on? And do they then push the ones that were set for July back to August or September? And how far does this continue to push backwards until they catch up?
Right.
You know, because they don't want to step on their own dicks. You don't want to release one blockbuster and then another blockbuster another week later, and you're almost like taking money out of your own pockets. So I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to step on any dicks. That's not good. That hurts a lot.
Oh, don't step on my dick. Oh.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's bigger than yours.
I will say one thing. The one silver line to this. An acquaintance of mine, he's a filmmaker. His name is Massimiliano Circi, and he actually posted a post on his Facebook and said, "Hey, the one positive thing you could say is that this now gives you time to write whatever movie, whatever idea you wanted. Because here's the thing, the studios are going to be gunning for content after all this is said and done. They will be gunning for it because they'll snatch up the thing, anything they can get their hands on, because they need to recoup those profits that they're losing. So it's a very smart thing. I mean, I'm taking advantage of that. I'm going to actually write the feature film of my short film, Autumn People. Get it? Yeah, get it. And try to put that out there. But I mean, I would say that's the one positive thing is that, for people who have struggled to find the time to write and find the time to produce that movie and get everything kind of in pre-pro, here's your time. You got plenty of it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, like how I've reorganized my days and I've thought like more about art,
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, the difference here with pre-production, production, and post-production in terms of creating anything.
Okay.
Pre-production, to some degree, you can do that as somebody's working on a script. The studios, you can do a Zoom thing. Here's what I got with the script, pitch it, talk about adjustments. Production and post-production, you're up shit creek with a paddle.
Post-production you can do.
Post-production.
Depends on how big, like... The Walking Dead TV series has just postponed their last episode because they were still in post-production on it.
And they can't do it, apparently.
Yeah, I guess somehow they can't just have one guy working on a Mac.
Well,
lady.
My guess is that, honestly, the infrastructure setup is one where, I guess also because they're concerned about security, they might not make it so that you can't access, say, your raw footage remotely. That would be my thing to think of is, how are they accessing the raw footage? How could they edit their files? I mean, if you don't have that infrastructure set up, if you haven't done that ahead of time and you're still working off of drives that are local or whatever, or even servers that are local, you can't do that stuff remotely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of production, the next Mission Impossible, which I think is number 39 or 58. I don't know.
Why are they still making those? Why?
I don't know.
Nobody wants them.
No one wants it.
But they were in the midst of planning an elaborate 3-week shoot in Venice. Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, probably not a good idea to be there.
They sent the crew home. Sets were abandoned. Some local crews were unsure if the film would ever return.
That sucks.
And obviously...
So I'm sure that was like local money for, Italy too.
Yep.
Yeah, The Amazing Race suspended production and sent its contestants home due to increased concerns and uncertainty.
Where were they? Did it say?
Well, Amazing Race, they go everywhere.
That's true. Yeah. I guess that's true.
And obviously, South by Southwest canceled their film festival for the first time in 32 years. I was considering going to that. Travis Ayers and I were going to go.
Yeah, maybe. That's right.
Well, it's very up in the air, and then
that's a good point you bring up, John. Is how this affected festivals. Now, a lot of people don't understand that festivals are not so much about just screening your movie. It's not so much about your movie's at that festival. It is about the publicity and the opportunities that come from those festivals. Film
networking, distribution, baby.
Yeah, that's all. Especially big ones like South by Southwest. The smaller ones not so much, but the big thing is that when those festivals, when they close up shop, that denies every one of those filmmakers who got in, which is already a arduous and I would say sometimes fruitless task in and of itself. It denies them of that publicity and denies them of getting their film bought. And kind of leaves them kind of in the loop, in the lurch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
And it's, we're not talking about like Johnny Willis Cross Basement Film Festival. We're talking Tribeca, South by Southwest, Cannes.
Yeah.
These are the biggest film festivals in the world.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what kind of repercussions this has on what gets found, what gets put out, what gets distributed, what gets financing in the future. Yeah. Because the festival circuit is the initial run that films do. Even if it's just the big 3 to 5 before they get distribution or are sent out, like those movies are now just sitting, farting in the couch.
Well, I have seen some festivals and even some conventions too that have done kind of virtual festivals, so they'll do like a streaming thing where they'll stream, the films themselves. But it's not the same. It's just not the same. It's not about the screening. It's about, honestly, the cocktail hour. It is about the glad handing. It's all about the just marketing of your film. It's not about the screening, and I think that's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah, and and the list continues. Netflix is searching for alternatives to Italy, where they're planning to shoot Red Notice starring Johnson the Rock Dwayne.
1, 2, and speaking of other events, John, I was just looking up the information to have it correct. So Book Expo America and BookCon have both officially been postponed, and now they're the same weekend as Comic-Con.
Wow.
In San Diego.
Oh, this is going to be
which would be a lot of, that'd be a lot of the same names, a lot of the same people. So I'm not sure which conference like publishers and authors are going to prioritize. I mean, that's assuming that Comic-Con itself isn't also postponed.
Here in Pittsburgh, still CityCon was postponed. It was supposed to be early April here. Now they have it in mid-June. I imagine it's going to probably get postponed or canceled again.
Probably.
Because I doubt it by, early to mid-June it's going to be. And a lot of these...
I mean, you guys keep saying that, but like, I think that it's really important to emphasize that we just don't know.
Well, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying that I hope that we all just do the right thing more than just be like, let's just get back to life,
Right. Well, I'm just
things will
saying.
Get a lot worse.
I mean, I'm just saying that we don't know. The most important thing is to wash your hands, don't touch your face, and stay the fuck home.
Yeah. Yep.
But a lot of these celebrities, and I know it's so easy to go, oh, boo-hoo, celebrities, but they're not all George Clooney.
Oh yeah,
they're not all worth like $500 million. A lot of these guys do these convention circuits. That's their main means of income.
It's definitely their main source of income, and so to postpone it even for a couple of months, I mean that's a big impact. Of course.
Yep.
Like Robert Englund's going to be at Still CityCon, but there's a lot of people on that list who are not Robert Englund,
Right.
Oh, well, right. I mean, but even too, I mean, like, he's not a multimillionaire like George Clooney is. Like, I mean, that's a big deal for him. Like, that's a big part of, I'm sure, his income and his revenue for the year, so having that as a cancellation, like, that is a big deal.
Yeah. He's got them Frodrick royalty checks, I'm sure.
Those Frodrick royalty checks.
But yeah, this one I just found hilarious. The Bachelorette was supposed to take place in Italy.
Oh, was it?
The entire run.
Boo-hoo for the Bachelorette.
Disney Plus canceled its European press launch in London this week.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Other concerts, festivals, conferences around the world all have been canceled.
Well, the world, but it's crazy that we've just hit the pause button on the entire world. Like, that's literally what's happened.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, it's a huge bonus for streaming. Hey, guess what? Steven Spielberg, you dumbass. I guess, streaming is maybe the way
I was waiting for you to badmouth Steven Spielberg because I knew the minute we mentioned streaming, you're going to literally, lay into him.
I'm super glad you told him to suck it. I was worried you wouldn't. I was worried about it.
Why don't you go make some more movies about heroic war horses and BFGs and guys who are stuck in airports? You asshole.
Okay, will you
that's your opinion, right, John? That's your
What's
opinion.
that?
That's your opinion, right?
Yes. That's my opinion. So don't sue me, Steven.
It doesn't reflect their opinions of the rest of the show because
That's right.
Or our affiliates.
Steven, if you'd like me to work for you, I would be glad to come and work for you, sir.
Obviously, like everybody else, I do love the man, but it's so funny that he's saying no, everything has to play in a movie theater. It has to play in a movie theater. Like, who's laughing now? Netflix, Amazon, Shudder, Hulu, all these, that's how we're getting all of our entertainment. And the weird thing is, why I do have some problem with endless entertainment at your fingertips, because I do think it's a way to keep people pacified from the things that really matter in their lives. If this happened in 1987, I think people would have gone mad.
Can you imagine if this happened in the 80s? I mean, the only thing that's kept me from seriously, that's kept me sane is I video chat with my girlfriends once a week. I video chatted my mom today. It's kept me sane. I mean, it really has, and having all this content, but too, I think the one thing that's really pissed me off about all this, I don't have access to the library anymore.
Yeah.
I've missed the library of all things. Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
Because I'm through all my library books, and they keep auto renewing, which I appreciate because it's not my fault. I can't return them.
Right.
And even if I return them, no one would check them in because there is the drop, but I can't do anything. I mean, thankfully I have stuff to read here, but I miss my goddamn library.
Yeah.
Well, as Hollywood stock plummets in the midst of the outbreak, Netflix stock only took a modest hit, and it's actually increasing now, and people are encouraging investors to buy now. Like,
of course, why? I mean,
stock,
we should buy now. Let's go do that after the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus.
And Warner Brothers CEO John Stanky, that's his name.
Give me that. Stanky. Oh, Stanky.
He doesn't seem too concerned about the virus. I'm quoting here. For the same reason, arguing it could, in fact, be a boom for the upcoming HBO Max service.
There's like 3 HBO apps. I'm very confused.
There's like HBO Go, and then there's this Max service. Yeah. And then I know there was another one. Yeah. I
signed up for the extension on Prime just so I could watch McMillions. It was real good. It was real good.
But as we mentioned kind of at the top here, we're talking about the bigger issues, but we do want to make notice of people that we know personally that are being affected by the film industry. I have some people who are, just working in the industry, trying to pick up whatever jobs they can on the lowest level. We talked with Ava Haberman. We talked with Torrin Davis, who's an actor. So we're going to put, some of their quotes down here. Some of them recorded them. Now others will just kind of read on the air here, and they can tell us about what something like this has been. And fair warning, because I think we should run it in full. Torrin is 7 minutes long. He sent me an audio recording. He has an amazing Southern accent, and he is hilarious and extremely charming. So I think we should run it in full.
No, well, I'm going to put him in. So you tell me when you want to jump to him, and I'll jump to him.
And I have just to read off one I have here from Brandon Eastman. I met him around the holidays. He sent me a quote here. Very interesting. He does a lot of work in cinematography. He's a focus puller. Has degrees, in terms of what you see on film. If you don't understand exactly what cinematography is, he said the uncertainty of what the entire industry when it will restart is what worries me. How long can I truly ride this out before depleting my entire bank account and starting from square one? Every citizen affected by COVID-19 will need to do their part in curbing this pandemic. We have responsibility not only to ourselves, but to our neighbors and persons in far out places whom we don't even know. This affects everyone. I feel that introverts have a slight edge being quarantined. We have shaped our lives to being in solitude when not enduring the hustle and bustle of set life. I feel that extroverts bouncing off the proverbial walls as they find ways to cope with isolation. We have this beautiful gift of technology that keeps us connected, and it's helped me stay connected with friends and family, gaming together, playing board games via FaceTime, or simply checking in with text and phone call as we distance ourselves socially for the safety of others. It's important to remain connected in times like this. Technology is our savior to be informed, healthy, and active. So he's good. Thankfully, he saved his money, but how long can that go? Because he was, pay for play. He went project to project. He's a freelance, focus puller, cinematographer. So how long can something like that hold up?
Yeah. I have a friend who runs Brittany Leanna Productions here in the city. And Pittsburgh actually has done a Pittsburgh, it's the PGH Artist Emergency Fund. And she was able to secure a grant for her company. At this time, she does videography, and she writes and produces her own material, but she does mostly photography work. And she's the writer and director and producer of the web series Living While Black. Okay. But the PGH Artist Emergency Fund is something that's been available to artists who have applied during this time when obviously you can't be around other people and whatnot, because she's been a photographer like one-on-one with other people as a private entrepreneur. So she's someone local that's been affected, but I've loved seeing Pittsburgh step up and take care of its own. I feel like that's been a lot that I've seen lately, which is great.
Yeah. Travis Ayers said the film industry is indeed hurting right now. However, I feel like it has opened up the need to be creative and go against the grain to produce original content. And I know this has got to be affecting Travis because he had even more means of income. The guy had like at least 7 to 10 gigs, and they are all now in person. Gone. Yeah, absolutely. So and then I have a couple here that we'll put up that are recorded. Mm-hmm. We'll put those up here, and then Brian, did you have anybody?
I did. I had our friend Len Kabazinski respond to kind of our call for, how this is affecting them. And I mean, his biggest thing was that this was giving him kind of the first break he's had in filming things in I think it was 7 to 8 years.
Glenn never stops.
He doesn't stop, but I mean, he did say that this was affecting, his fundraising for his newest project, getting that Kickstarter kind of up and running. That this is going to hurt that.
Is his Kickstarter up right now?
I am not entirely sure. I think it may have been.
Anyone listening right now, go Google his Kickstarter and give him a couple bucks. Len is the best.
It wasn't his Kickstarter. I was mistaken. It was his Indiegogo. It was his Indiegogo account.
Oh, his Indiegogo? Okay.
He had to cancel
Give him a couple bucks for his Indiegogo and then go do his Patreon.
Yeah,
Len is awesome.
Yeah, you should definitely check out his Patreon. But, I mean, ultimately, he had to cancel that project at the time right now. I mean, he had people sucks. Like the Maniac, Samurai Cop, and a bunch of other B-movie actors in his project, and he had to kind of cancel it for right now. And I mean, it's terrible.
And with gigs like that, that's so hard because you may not be able to pick the project back up where you left off.
Exactly.
That's hard.
Exactly.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. And so we'll go to the recorded ones here, and then we'll be right back.
Hi, John. This is Eva Habermann. I'm currently in Berlin, in Germany, and I'm really glad that we finished the shoot of The Cyst last year in December, as this year nothing is happening at all. Also in Germany, there won't be any film shoots. They are all postponed till September. So in the main season of shooting, nothing is happening, which is a total disaster for the actors, for the crews, for the directors, as everybody is not working and not earning any money. And a lot of people won't know how to survive, which is horrible. I also won't be doing anything this year. Hopefully, I'm going to be in a play July, August, as this was already planned. But we all don't know what's going to happen. And we can only pray that it's not going to get worse.
What's up, Mr. John? It's Torrin, man. I hope all's well up there in them cold northern states, man. It's been sunny and pretty nice other than a little bit of rain here and there. Man, what about this virus, though, right? We've been watching it and kind of progress from the China thing, from its China, residents, and then manufacturing itself on over here. And I don't know, I think it's affected me and my family in all kinds of ways. But, just to start, it's just crazy how it got here so quick. That was one thing me and my lady were talking about, how it was just nuts how within 30, 40 days, it's everywhere, and surprisingly how something I totally believe is a Mother Nature thing that I don't think it was manufactured. I think only Mother Nature could be this creative and make something so complex and yet just, cripple everybody at once. But, we've took a hit, my small business and my film stuff. It's just kind of paused a little bit. I've had some audition stuff I've sent out, and I think I got some confirmations on them, but the production timeline has totally changed. So it's wonder what that even is going to look like now. And then as far as my small business, I own a printing shop, a t-shirt and all kinds of banners and all stuff like that. And all the people that need marketing tools or t-shirts for their churches or schools is kind of put on pause. But what's kind of picked up is the online marketing images. I do Photoshop stuff and Illustrator stuff. And so that's kind of picked up. But, just generally with my family, we have a great grandma that we see all the time, and she still drives. She's running to church all the time. She goes Goodwill shopping and all kinds of stuff, and she's always out and about. And then to be able to not go see her like we usually do is kind of sucks, And my lady, she's a store manager for a corporate veterinarian clinic, and they're still open, And here in Shreveport, they haven't they haven't made it mandatory shutdown or even voluntary, really. You know, it's just kind of like everybody's on vacation around here. And then where we live in Gladewater, when we go to Texas, it's crazy because over there, they're literally on mandatory shutdown. And I'm maybe an hour away, you know, and that's like the next stop on this road. And so it's just nuts how states are treating it so different, you know. It's I don't know, man. It's just real weird how that's working out. But here, and as her job is being that store manager for the veterinary clinic, like, you would think that it would kind of slow down, but being at corporate, they've set in some really good guidelines and PTOs and different things, you know, like paid time off things. But yeah, they really aren't. I don't know. I just think for me personally, and this is different opinion than she has, but I mean, they have like stockpiles of PPE, and yet she told me the other day that they did like $10,000 worth of $10,000 came in versus average day was like $4,000 on that weird day. Excuse me. And it was like I thought about it. I was like, you know, well, that's good. You know, people, I guess, are, you know, kind of preparing with their pets. She was like, no, Torn, they're literally coming in to get their dog's teeth cleaned. You know, and I just think it's weird how the people here in Louisiana, and I'm not saying all of them, but there's so many people around here that aren't taking it so serious. And I guess they just don't have, you know, as big circles, or they just don't have, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know what they don't have, but I do know that it's just nuts that a corporation can have stockpiles of all this PPE, and yet they, instead of shutting it down and giving it to these nurses and all these people around here, and really just taking in pets that are in total need, you know, we're wasting it on like teeth cleaning, you know. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I just grew up on a farm with dogs and animals, and, you know, the vet was an expensive thing that we took the dog to or an animal to when it was really hurt. We didn't take it to go get his teeth cleaned. But anyway, you know, me personally, a business and family, and it's just been, it's just a weird time, you know. Like, my mom, she lives probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from us, and, you know, she comes in there about once a month, 2 times a month, and when she can, 'cause she works a lot, but she would come in to see her grandkids, my 2 children, and I have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, and it's crazy because my mom, like, she'll come and she'll bring them stuff, and then literally she'll just like come and see them through the window and then leave, because she doesn't want to, you know, even put them at any kind of risk. And I don't think that they have that great of a risk, but who knows, you know. And man, I don't know. It's just a weird time that we're living in, and I'm a Christian. I totally believe in the Jesus of the true Bible, not the one that's condemning and wrong that people preach a lot of times. I believe that there is a moral higher power that is, you know, that we all kind of know about, and that's where I put my faith. I put it in Him, and ultimately I know that, you know, whatever happens, happens. And if I can take care of other people and try to help other people and take care of myself and my family the best I can, then I think that's all I can do, you know. And I'd be praying a little bit more. But other than that, man, it's just a weird time that we're living in, and all these people, man, they're going nuts. And I hope that these families that are all gathering in their yard and playing with their kids and drinking beer with their neighbors, they, you know, maybe keep a little more distance between them at this time, but those relationships that they do find, and they do reach out and, you know, kind of make new friends in this weird time. I hope it keeps going, and I hope that somehow this brings everybody back to the mindset of, you know, something so small as something we can't see could just cripple everybody so quick. And man, I hope you're doing good up there. I hope y'all are all good. I hope your family's good, and can't wait to see you again. I hope your show's going great, man, and thanks for letting me call in. And yeah, man, God bless y'all. Have a good one. Hope y'all don't run out of toilet paper. Adios, bro.
And yeah, obviously tour and told us everything going on in his life. God bless him for it. I love him. So that was appreciated to get, those sound bites there. But yeah, it's affecting all of us. I think just really quickly here, just to be 20 seconds selfish each, I think, because we all know that this is a part of a bigger problem, but I think we should, each one of us, take 20 seconds to talk about something that has pissed us off that has been canceled or delayed.
All right.
And then we're going to go, okay, now back to what is more important.
All right. You want to go first? Go ahead.
You are stealing this, by the way, from last week tonight, you motherfucker.
It's healthy. It's cathartic.
I know. Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Goddamn WrestleMania is going to have no audience. I don't even know why they're putting it on. I can't imagine. This show is literally built on its audience. It's not going to have a set. It's not going to be great. The poor guy, Drew McIntyre, he's going to be a made man when he beats Brock Lesnar, but he's going to win the belt to no noise. It fucking sucks.
WrestleMania is going to suck.
Wrestling's been a joke now. It's
going to be so bad.
God, it pisses me off so bad. Okay, I'm done.
Bad. Brian, you?
Okay, so I had a trip planned with my wife. It was going to be the first trip for both of us in at least 2 years, because we've been taking the boys and Coraline on trips. So it was our only solo trip, and that got canceled because, I don't know, New York kind of is the epicenter, and that's where we were going. We were also going to go to Philadelphia to the Mutter Museum, because everyone tells me how awesome it is to see all the flayed bodies up there, and now can't do that now. So yeah, there's that, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not much of a wrestling fan, John. So I really don't care. Honestly, I think it would make it more fun. Honestly, to
the
watch,
last few shows have been
to watch them basically do Shakespeare in the Park, but no audience.
Aroused by any other name, you son of a bitch. Wouldn't smile so sweet, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, well, that's my big thing.
But you picked something thoughtful about your relationship. I just meant entertainment, but
yeah, I mean that was I was looking forward to that, and I mean we're going to do it eventually. I already told my wife, I said, hey, as soon as this whole pandemic thing clears up, we're rescheduling. But I mean that was my big thing, is I really was looking forward to that, and I mean the one positive thing is now I do have all the time to spend with my family.
All the time you can stand.
Yeah.
What about you, Lynn?
Well, so for me, we were supposed to see Mandy Moore, the first week that things really got bad. We're supposed to see her, and I mean, it is going to be rescheduled. It was supposed to be the first date of her tour here in Pittsburgh, but my concern is that we had really good seats, and I'm just worried that the rescheduled date, we're not going to be able to make it, and that it's not going to translate into seeing her. And I mean, we had row G. I was I'm gonna treat myself to some really good Mandy Moore tickets. And then two, it's not until June, but I'm supposed to go to Ireland with my mom, and it's late June, and we got our flight information, so I think the trip is still on. But my mom she boned up on the on the insurance. She got the extra duper insurance, and I think we're gonna be glad she did. But I've never been to Europe before, so I'm really hopeful that at least things will be better.
Yeah.
Late June. It's the 23rd of June, so it's really late in June. So
guys, in closing,
I'm worried.
How do we think this is going to affect the film industry moving?
Well, no, wait. Let's. Okay. You guys are a bummer. What is something that has come out of this that's good that you haven't expected?
Okay. Can I go first?
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Please. I can't think of anything.
As I said before, just kind of talking in larger aspects of this whole crisis, I think that this has, again, just shown people who really believed that you kind of have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I hate hearing that terminology because it's so not true. That mentality. Geez, I'm screwing up words here. That thought that everyone is an individual and your success is entirely dependent on you, no one else, that is thrown out the window right now, because we are all dependent on everyone right now. We are dependent on people having the forethought to stay away. so that we don't get sick, so this doesn't spread. We are dependent on people to keep us alive. We're dependent on people to make sure that there's food delivered to grocery stores. We're dependent on people to deliver the groceries. I mean, I use Instacart, and honestly, if those people didn't go to the grocery store, I'd have to put myself, I'd have to put my wife, I'd have to put my kids at risk to go out and get food. So this has shown that we are so interconnected, that we are all dependent on everyone, that it's not a pull yourself up by your bootstraps bullshit. It's that everyone is responsible for everybody else. We live and die by each other. That should be a unifying cry for our future. That is the one silver lining, the one positive thing I could say is that this crisis, as horrible as it is, and honestly, I don't think anyone wants something like a pandemic to occur to wake us the fuck up. But my hope is that this has woken everybody up, that we have to care about each other, that we are dependent on everybody. We are dependent on someone who's working at a grocery store right now to make sure that their toilet paper is stocked, to make sure that there's food that's stocked. You know, that's the one positive thing I could say.
Yeah, mine's kind of in the same vein. Like, what I've noticed is, like, I've kept myself busy during the week, but I've taken really slow weekends. And usually, I mean, John and I are so busy on the weekends, and I think that hopefully other families have done the same. And hopefully, like, people realize that they don't have to overschedule their kids, and their kids don't need 18 different kinds of lessons, and don't have to have lacrosse practice and then go straight to flute lessons and have to be scheduled every minute. You know, like, kids can just play. And I've actually taken time to, like, you know, bake a little bit, or, you know, maybe cook myself a meal. And I feel like there's a lot of messages, like, through marketing that, you know, things that we're told, like, you know, we're too busy for this or too busy for that. And, like, I didn't do anything today. Like, I, like, rearranged one of the, like, things in my house, like, that has, like, decorative stuff on it. Like, I just redid it. That was, like, the major accomplishment I did today. Like, I mean, I made a batch of cookies, you know, but, like, I hope that people kind of, like, take their time more with things and, like, go more slowly and kind of realize that, like, time together is more important. And I've actually, like, realized, like, how much I appreciate time with people, because, like, I really miss my friends and I really miss my mom. And like, I hope that people realize, like, it's just, like, time with each other that matters. Because, like, if I could see my friends right now, I would literally drive over in my pajamas and just, like, hug everybody. Right. Or just, like, drive to everyone's house right now just to hug them, you know? And I hope that that's, like, you know, what people realize, like, you realize what you've taken for granted.
No, definitely.
Yeah, I think it does show who the true heroes are. They're not the ball players or the actors, or they're the medical workers.
Wall Street.
Yeah, they're the nurses, the doctors, the people who are working, you know, in the grocery stores right now, so we can all get food. The essential workers who are still showing up day in and day out because
gas station attendants.
Yeah, and you know,
restaurateurs.
People that, you know, you take for granted that are really doing, you know, the most important work until something like this happens, and you know, you're grateful that they're out there in case we need them. You know, so and you know, thanks from the bottom of my heart for everybody who's doing all of that. You know, I'm trying as much as I can to stay home and do my part, but people who have to keep going into work every day, who have been deemed essential, you know, like, whether that's true or not, you know, whether, you know, some people that are, and some people that even they themselves are like, really, I'm essential, I have to go. Like, I really appreciate everything that everybody has to do, and for people who are staying home, I appreciate that too. Yeah, hey, Wonder Woman, thanks for singing Imagine, but there are people out risking their lives. So.
Yeah, like I said, either give me money, or give me money. Give, like, the people that need it money, like, give them supplies.
Or they can give us money too. That's fine.
Be Chris Evans and read some bedtime stories.
Yeah.
Put me to sleep.
But I honestly guess I don't know where the film industry goes from here. Like,
I think that this is going to change a lot of things, and I think, like you said, like, this is a real turning point for streaming, because
I think streaming's, we're gonna see a lot of it going that way.
I mean, it's that comforting thing, like, it's always there, and I feel like this is kind of an experiment out of necessity. Yeah. But I wonder what kind of returns we're going to see from movies like Onward, and, you know, the couple things that were just kind of thrown in to see how they do, you know, because I'm telling you, if you have a family of four, $20 for a brand new release, like, that's a deal. You know, for you, Brian, I mean, you have 4 kids. Yep. You and your wife, like, to see a brand new movie, like that's getting off cheap, honestly, because you have there's so many of you that you would have to buy tickets for like a kid's movie like that. I think that would be a good deal for you guys now, and for me and John, like for us to see that on a weekend night, like that's about right. You know, it's about the same. We'd save maybe a couple bucks.
Yeah, as I said, I kind of echo what you all are saying. I think
it's fascinating.
I think that I feel bad for theaters. Honestly, I really do.
Me too. I love the theater.
Theaters. There is no experience like seeing a movie in a theater, and I love that experience. I hope too. that after this crisis is kind of done, that we have an appreciation for that. That's one thing I can say is maybe, I saw an article the other day about how the drive-ins,
I saw that too. They're coming back, baby.
The drive-ins are coming back because that's really the only communal way of being able to watch a movie and
be safe
together
in
and be
these,
safe
in these conditions.
And I hope that there is an appreciation for going to the theater because we were denied that. Because it wasn't a choice. It was
people missed it.
You can't go to it. You literally are putting yourself at risk if you do.
I don't know about y'all, but like I'm ready to go out and spend some fucking money when I'm allowed to go outside again. I want to go to a brewery. I want to go to dinner. I want to go dancing.
I want to go to the movies.
I want to go out, man.
We all know how many movies I saw. And just,
I know this must be killing you.
Oh, I'm scratching the walls, man.
Well, folks, I think we've talked this fun crisis to death for right now.
Yeah, we couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
And we are going to have our Kire episode out next week, but we did want to kind of take this time to kind of talk about
just reflect. I mean, this is history in the making.
Yeah. And
stay safe, everybody.
John, where can they find you on the Twitter machine?
Just real quick, please,
go ahead.
People, stay home. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to. Wash your hands and be nice to each other. I know not everybody's in the best situation, but just try to live as amicably as possible and be kind to one another. Because for a while now, we're going to be in the house together with family. Don't
go all The Shining. On your family members.
Don't go Jack Torrance here.
Please don't do that.
But isolate. Don't go out for stupid reasons, and just take care of yourselves. But you can find me at the Unreal J Wolves.
Lane?
You can find me at LA_Croft.
You can find me at Brian Connington. I also run the Psycho Show page. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Psycho Show. You can also find us on the Epicast Network at epicastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or question you want to throw away, you can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. And make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and iTunes, and we will see you next time. Stay safe, everybody.
Wash your hands and stay the fuck home.
That's right.